Hello, welcome to my first video. I'm Ethan Collector 4 and I'm going to talk about if Hasbro will ever make it to the level Mafex have done Medicom toys, to the level they've done for Marvel action figures in general, and if their quality will ever be that good. So here priced at 45 Great British Pound and 55 USD or 60 USD. Airball number is Mafex Hasbro Maximum Spider-Man. This figure contains, compared to other Marvel Legends, forearm swivel, drop-down hips, which is becoming a newer feature on them, which a lot of newer ones are incorporating, like Superior Spider-Man, and also neck articulation, the first to do it, and toe articulation, another feature that's now being incorporated into Hasbro's figures. So here, if we look at it in box, if we look at the accessories, it comes with webs, extra web effects here, more web effects here, like your web lines. Then it comes with the Spidey Sense, McFarlane head sculpt, and an unmasked head sculpt, overall McFarlane design, thwip hands, ungloved thwip hands, I'm going to call them that, but thwip hands with web, thwip hands, crawling hands, and overall an amazing figure. If we look at the back art, really nice, and you can kind of see how compared to other ones they are going for a more import like design, and overall for a solid 55 USD figure this is really good. You're getting a good bang for your buck. You get a really nice head sculpt, pretty good quality control. Owning two of these, both that I bought off pre-order, one from Hasbro, another from Big Bad Toy Store, I can say that they're identical. The quality control is good, which is a bit unusual for Hasbro because it's a bit hit or miss, but overall it is an amazing figure. Here's a look at the ab crunch with the legs, really good. Going backwards, really good. Look at the arms, really good range of motion on them, so you can make some really nice poses. Legs, double jointed as well with toe articulation. Here's a look at the drop down hips. Up, down. Down that noticeable, it doesn't really make that big a difference, but it's nice knowing they have it. Now, if we take a look at this here, for this price of 55 USD, and all the accessories you get as well. I haven't added in some of the web shoot accessories and the web shield it comes with. Overall, you are getting a bang for your buck if you do just want it for accessories. Like an example of that would actually be here. If I take it off my shelf, well, I use it for my Amazing Fantasy. I made use of that headpiece by actually putting it on him for his crouching pose to look better. Overall, the accessories are very worth it, and it tempted me massively to buy since I'm a big fan of the McFarlane design. Now, if we had to take a look at Mafex here, really going to see some big differences. If I take out two examples out of the 4 Mafex I own Mafex Deadpool, Scout Spider, these are my examples. I also own Mafex 2099, and well, it's coming soon, but Mafex Hush Batman. Overall, these are, this one I ordered off, I don't really remember the website name, but it came from America. It was a smaller website, I know that. And this one I ordered off eBay, coming from Japan. Really good, didn't have to pay import tax on it luckily, but some of the things we see here are, we see cloth goods on him, which when you look at it for Spider-Man you think, oh, that doesn't matter for Spider-Man, but if we take out of Maximum Spider-Man, for example, look at Maximum Hulk, I personally don't own it, it didn't really tempt me, though this sort of gummy torso was quite tempting for the price, to be fair, and that would have been nice to buy, but it didn't really tempt me for my collection, as I'm not that, I like the Avengers, but I'm not that big an Avengers fan. I do prefer Justice League to Avengers. We're not going to talk about that in this video, but I do prefer that in the format of a team-wise, and it's not really tempting me as I don't own a Captain America figure yet. Well, I have one pre-ordered, coming from Marvel vs. Capcom Wave, and since a lot of them aren't the best quality, if you look at it as well, something I'm going to talk about, tangenting off, is the inconsistency in how Hasbro make their figures. Hasbro started making figures years ago. I started collecting in 2020, and since 2020, that's 5 years of collecting here. I've been collecting, I would say, for a decent amount of time. Like, if we look at it right here, I'll show you. This is actually one of my first figures, Webman. I really liked him. There's a guy on TikTok who posed him really well. I thought, oh, that looks cool. I'd like to get it. I went down to Forbidden Planet in London and I brought him. Really good figure. That will be in actually my next video. I'm going to talk about, is the Marvel Retro Card series actually going to continue post Avengers Doomsday? Because I do think they might mix some things up with the Marvel Retro Card. But I'm not going to talk about that now, although I really want to. But if you look at it, the inconsistencies of within 5 years of collecting, only now they've just made a Captain America that has butterfly joints and a full shield really confuses me, because that inconsistency is something you never see with Mafex. Mafex, you always know, oh, he's going to have really good articulation, really good, he's going to have butterfly joints, confirmed, going to have neck swivel, going to have toe articulation, that's all confirmed. But in Hasbro, you hear, oh, the Avengers Doomsday figures are being made, da 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 da. You're thinking, are they going to give these figures that the only other people, Mafex, they don't make the best movie figures. We've established that, but so I'm not going to buy a Mafex one. SH Figure Arts, but they don't scale too well. And SH Figure Arts are quite hefty if you want to buy an entire wave. So just go get the ones from Hasbro, the Marvel Legends. Are they actually going to be worth my money? That's the question here. Because look at it, they don't have double jointed biceps all the time. That is really out there. Like, let's just look at this thing. Yeah, this is my most recent pickup that I actually bought yesterday. If we look at it, this is probably the same quality we're going to get for the Avengers Doomsday. And I would just say it's quite poor. If we look at it right, out of the box it is quite stiff since I only got them yesterday. But accessories wise, I got 2 hands with the thing. I got an open hand and a punching hand, and you might think, oh, that's enough, but it's the thing, I kind of want something else in there. Considering I'm paying £25 for him, which is quite a lot when you think about it, because think, you're buying a whole wave. You're not buying one. If you want to buy a whole wave, that's like 6 figures. Think about it. 2 for 50, 4 for 100, 6, that's £150. You can probably buy 2 Mafexes with that price, for that price. But the thing is, what clearly we know with Hasbro is they go for money over actual quality. No hate to Hasbro, I do love some of their figures. Like My Amazing Fantasy here that I've put a backpack on, amazing. I own 2 of them. I love that figure so much. Same with as well Maximum Spider-Man. This figure is one of the best they've ever made. Another one to add in is this. The sculpt on this is so good. The detail amazing. And I really do think as well, if we look at this Scarlet Spider here, this is one of the epitome of what a Marvel Legend should be for me. What the Maximum series in Scarlet Spider and Amazing Fantasy is what a Maximum series should be to me. I feel like you should be guaranteed to get a good design. They test some new things, but you should get something closer to your SH Figure Arts and Mafex than you do to a Marvel Legend. Which, realistically, you don't get something closer to a Mafex from him. But if we now go back to it, if we look at what Mafex offers, you're getting the beautiful soft goods. Really works well in Scarlet Spider if we compare it. You can kind of see they look so similar, but just his hoodie looks so more realistic. Now, if we compare the overall posability, both come with good toe articulation and the exact same design. But although the bad thing with Mafex is, their designs sometimes are quite lackluster. As we see here, his spider is smaller. Don't know why they did that. It doesn't look that good if I'm being honest. And for people hating on the tone of red, saying he looks more orange, that's in photos. These 2, if I show you on the camera here, sorry that my camera is quite bad, I don't have a good one since this is only my first video, but they look pretty identical, and in person, if you know it, you know they're pretty red, and it's a good shade of red. And I think overall, I think the only way that Hasbro can get up to that Mafex tier is they need to, rather than prioritising money and profits, it's not like there's some small business here, like some Etsy creator 3D printing figures, selling for 50 quid because it's all hand done. No. They're a multi-billion pound, $billion company, I want to say, maybe million, but realistically, they're prioritising money here, which is a theme we've seen recently. Like, this thing, I bought it from my local comic shop. I did pay £5 up, I paid £30 because my pre-order hasn't arrived yet and I can't be asked to wait, a bit impatient, but I get a single set of hands and him for £30. Yeah, he's a bigger figure in scale, he's got a really good sculpt, But I look at his eyes and I think his eyes shouldn't be that small. It's a bit uncanny valley, but you can argue that's designed for movie. But so like, we want more from him. It's not no double jointed biceps. He's got pinless joints, which is a plus, but any day on a Marvel Legend you can just not get pinless joints. And I think ultimately the only way that Hasbro can overtake Mafex is by laying aside that greed for money and prioritising quality control, which they're already quite good at, but still they do need to up quality control, same as SH Trade Grass. But that's another story I won't get into. I don't want to spark any arguments. But rather than prioritising money, I think we need to prioritise accessories they're giving us, and rather than they go all out on this detail, I think they always need to add more articulation in, because seeing the way that some people compose these Marvel Legends is insane with what they're given. How they do it with zero toe articulation and how they make a pose, a crouching pose, look like it's actually crouching is crazy. But I feel like the standard for Marvel Legends should be a figure not exactly close to this, but a figure more like we're hitting Amazing Fantasy, Scarlet Spider on every single figure, rather than hitting these figures that look good, but in hand they feel like clunky bits of plastic. And overall, that is why I do think Mafex will probably overtake them for the rest of the company's existence, unless they really do turn it around. But as well, I'm going to say, the waves they're putting out, it's that need for money again. You notice how we haven't gotten a comic Daredevil outside of a 3-pack, which is 120, I want to say, and a 2-pack, which was 55, which are really hard to get your hands on now. We haven't gotten a comic book Deadpool since, no, a comic book Daredevil since then. That is a while ago. And the closest thing we've gotten is the Daredevil from Daredevil Born Again. I've got that pre-ordered. When that arrives in October, and when my Punisher arrives this month, I'll drop reviews on them. I'm going to start reviewing figures as well. You can expect a wide range of reviews, such as some anime SH Figure Arts figures. I've got a lot planned for that. You also expect keyboards to get reviewed by me. I know it sounds a bit weird, but I really like keyboards. And you can also expect CT Toys reviews, because I'm going to let you guys know, if you're going to spend £30, you'd rather get a Marvel Legends over a CT Toys. So, whose puns are, but ultimately, I'll let you guys know, because CT Toys are ultimately better. I'm going to put that out there. Their replicas are better, and if they fix the quality control and up the price by like £5 fixed quality control, they're clear by miles. But ultimately, I'm going to finish on the note that Hasbro ultimately want money, and they need to set that aside to overtake Mafex, because them wanting money is meaning they're constantly releasing Spider-Man characters, like Spider-Man, odd Marvel vs. Capcom wave. You notice they didn't title it Marvel vs. Capcom because they didn't want to give Capcom any rights, which is a want for more money again. But they keep going for money, rather than giving us figures we actually want. We haven't been given a good Moon Knight in ages, so that's a good Moon Knight we want. Well, you could argue a live action. We want a really good comic Punisher. We've got that Wolverine we want coming from Marvel vs. Capcom, and ultimately maybe Maximum Series, but the Maximum Series they need to pick up the pace on. We've only had 2, and realistically, with the rate they're putting out figures, I think they're putting out really bad. They aren't choosing the right figures. They're putting out what they think will make money when it won't. They don't realise that we want Daredevil figures, we want Moon Knight figures, we want more Maximum Series figures. They don't understand that rather than releasing full waves and 2-packs, we're more likely to buy more Maximum Series figures of characters we want than buying all these multiple figures. They don't realise that we want that quality over quantity from them, similar to how Mafex does it. How Scarlet Spider released years ago but still holds up to standard, and only now they're releasing a new one. And I really do think that's what's holding Hasbro back, and ultimately that lack of accessories as well. Like, this figure is a great example of what Hasbro can be when they don't care about money. This figure is really good for them. I think £50, £45 for this. It's really good quality. If you can, I recommend you do go pick up a Maximum Series Spider-Man. And as well, that Maximum Series is a really good way for people just getting into action figures to dive in and test the grounds of imports before actually like going into buy one. Because the import territory, especially if you're properly importing from Japan, you're going to have to pay import tax, and that's a whole new can of snakes like I had to. And you're looking at £100 to £150 on figures that you're importing for a single figure. And for people coming in and then doing that and thinking, oh, I don't like this, it's a risk they aren't willing to take. And for spending £50 on a figure that is pretty close to import quality, I think that's a good buy for them. And ultimately, I will make a list of what figures I would recommend for starting creators soon. And I just want to say thank you for listening to my first video. Expect the next video coming soon. That video is going to be, do I think the retro card for Marvel Legends is actually good, and do I think it will continue in the future? Because I think you can put it up to debate that they've kind of slowed down the release of retro cards recently, and I feel like it's a good way for them to make money, but I feel like they might slow it down a bit and ultimately stop it because multiple reasons. They similarly did it with the Fantastic Four retro card, which existed for I think 2 lines of figures before that got scrapped. And I think that they're leading up to some other things, and how we're seeing sort of more retro cards like Amazing Fantasy cards similar to that are starting to stop. And I want to say thank you for watching, and make sure you like, subscribe, comment, give me any tips on how I can just get better at uploading. Hope you enjoyed. So if my opinions were a bit controversial, please don't argue in my comments. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to make some more community stuff if this gets bigger, and hope you get ready for my next video. Bye guys.